Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Kissing up God, giving him all the glory, all the honor, all the praises, because he deserves it all. Good afternoon, my YouTube audience. Pray all is well. I'm so happy to be with you today. My name is Jennifer Brooks. I'm your Southern Belle. I'm coming up with if, because the sermon that was preached yesterday, Reverend Hakeem preached at Faith yesterday, and it was really, really beautiful service. And he talk about that those two letter word if. And I think I did a video on if, but I have so many videos. It's somewhere back there. But anyway, and I put up that if can be negative or positive. It really depends on how you view it. Because you could say, if I wouldn't have said yes, I wouldn't have been in the situation. If I would have left on time, then I wouldn't be written up for being late. You know, you could always look at it in a negative way. If this wouldn't have happened, that wouldn't have happened. Because see, if comes with consequences. And it comes with things that we do or don't do or understand or don't understand once we've gone into that unknown circumstance, if. But he went into Psalms 124. And 124 states, the first verse, if it had not been for the Lord. He said, when he started preaching, he said, if. That's the only word I have to say. If it had not been for God on our side. And then I did a short this morning. It was still on my heart so much. I did a short. I would have looked up the song. If it hadn't been for the Lord on my side, where would I be? And I played that as my short this morning. But you can look at it in negative ways, because we do make a whole lot of mistakes with certain things. Oh my goodness, if I just would have listened to mom, if I just would have listened to my dad, if I just wouldn't have done that. Those regrets that you have with those big ifs. And you do have the regrets, and that's where the consequences come in. Divorce. And the way I look at that, if I wouldn't have married who I married, I wouldn't have my son. The second divorce, if I wouldn't have married him, and when it broke up, and when I found myself with nothing, I wouldn't have went back and got my degree. So some of those things that with the ifs, you got to knock out that some of those regrets, because once it happens, it becomes the past, and we can't look back on it. But we feel so bad about the decisions that we made with that big word. If I just would have paid attention, certain things wouldn't have happened in my life. But see, certain things have to happen to grow us. Because if we didn't do some of these things, we would be perfect, right? We wouldn't make any mistakes. It would be like everything would be all hunky-dory. But some of those if we had to deal with. Because if we didn't, then we wouldn't be able to move on and understand some certain things in our life that God is trying to bring us to, or God is trying to lead us to. I can say it like that. Because if we get everything we want, we don't feel like we need him. But we do. In every circumstance, in every decision in our life, we need to consult him some type of way. Because if we listen and stop listening to ourselves, we would hear some of the stuff or understand some of the things that he's trying to keep us away from. But we don't. So some of those ifs have to be in order to grow us, or in order to get us in places in our life. As I stated before, I have my son. Thank God, he's my only child, but I have him. I have my degree. If I didn't get my degree, I wouldn't have the job that I had. If I didn't have the job that I had, I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. If I wouldn't be able to pay my bills, I might be one of the people that's out there homeless. So some of the things in what he was preaching yesterday, he went all the way back to, like, if certain people wouldn't have sold the building to to the people at the church, that the church wouldn't be, then the ushers wouldn't be, and he kept going all the way up to then it wouldn't be our the pastor of faith. So you have to look back at some of those ifs, not always consequences and negativity. Look back at the positiveness, because if God wouldn't have been in some of these decisions, where would we be? Well, I know I'll probably be in an early grave. But I do know Psalms 124 will give you all you need. It's just 8 verses in Psalms 124. Read it. If it had not been for the Lord on my side, that's the biggest if in the world, where would I be? And I just wanted to come on and share that with you guys today. Thank you so much. Lent is coming up on Wednesday. I will be doing Lent. I do on 40 days. It won't be like the Daniel fast. The Daniel fast, I did give up meat. Daniel fast really did me some good. With Lent, you probably give up certain things. And I'm gonna give up laziness and get back in the gym. I will be back up in there pumping again. I gotta get back in the gym. And since I was doing so good, I've been eating a couple of sweets. So I'm gonna have to give that up again, give up that sweet, that sugar again. I really enjoyed that. And maybe a couple of days a week, just do vegetables and don't do my chicken and my fish. But stay on that regimen of being healthy, of eating healthy, of living healthy. Because if you don't do it, you're going to find yourself in a whole lot of trouble. Thank you so much for joining me today. Continue to subscribe, continue to come on, comment if you would like to. Please share. I really would appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Jennifer Brooks. I am your Southern Belle, and I am on the right road now. You guys have a blessed day now. You're here. God bless.